Greetings and God bless. I wanted to do a little video about how to be a good roommate. And I think it's been my experience, my successful roommate experiences have been when we have uh, really asked ourselves about what we require as a roommate and, um, for the other person and the other group of people that you're going to be rooming with, like if they really ask themselves and like what you prefer and what's really annoying, and like for one thing, smoking in the house or even smoking outside the house, like at the door or in the basement. That's generally I would walk away, even from a great situation, just because that secondhand smoke is just too annoying. And vaping, and actually hot boxing, people who smoke pot constantly, and you're just stuck in the house, or people who are doing hardcore drugs, uh, and they're in denial, and they're making you do secondhand meth smoke or something like that. Uh, and the thing is, folks are, like the people who are, I mean, everybody maybe is in some type of denial. And, maybe that's how we all function, just trying to look at the good side of things. But like for me, I have multiple chemical sensitivity, so I just don't really function when there's a lot of burning oil from cooking fumes, when there's no windows open and when there's no vent above the stove. So that kind of thing, I just become impaired. It's sort of like, just it shuts down my brain, due to the lack of oxygen. So, and some people, I think they get off on oxygen deprivation. So I just think, like, if people were just honest with themselves and with a prospective roommate, things might get along better. So I would start off with, like, what are allergies? Does somebody have a peanut allergy? Keep your peanut butter in your room or something like that. If the person's going to die, let's say. And But the thing is, you can't discriminate against somebody with a peanut allergy, um, too. I mean, legally, I don't think that's. I mean, hopefully the person with the peanut allergy is not trying to move into a peanut factory, But in our current world, there's people are kind of crazy, but um, so we have to have some common sense, and I know there's not a whole lot of that going on right now, but so and what I also notice is people, like, I have moved into situations where I'm like, oh, I have multiple chemical sensitivity. Do you know what that is? And they're like, yeah, I know what that is. And then they proceed to use a lot of chemicals, and um, really defensive and upset when I'm like, hey, can you just let me know so I can leave the house while the fumes go. And I don't mind leaving the house. I just am asking, hey, I mean, and I think, like, our world has become so emotionally dwarfed due to heavy medication use, and maybe family, parental drug and alcohol use, and video games and social media, because I mean, I had roommates in the late '80s onward, and it was understood. I mean, in my family of origin, if somebody was doing something annoying, you'd be like, "Hey, stop doing that," or could you pass me the newspaper? Like, you would say, "Hey, please stop," or "Hey, please help." And in current situations, like, people, especially now, I'm recording this in September of 2022, like, people won't tell you, like, that you have something in your teeth or that your hair is totally off or something like that. Um, and it's like people are either they're not paying attention or they're too afraid to speak up, and that's just a bad situation. So, anyways, back to roommate questions and dynamics. It's important for you to know who you are and what your needs are, and to be able to speak about it. And I'm talking a little quiet, sorry, because my roommate in the next room over is still sleeping, and I don't want to drive him crazy. Um, it's still early in the morning. So, another thing about roommate stuff is talking about communication, how you prefer to communicate. Do you prefer in person, text, telephone, email, um, physical notes? And in my experience, a lot of people really do not like physical notes. I don't mind it. I actually like physical notes, but um, and for me, I prefer writing because it just allows me time to think. And like I will, it seems like in our world, um, the 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 paradigm we're in, feelings are disrespected unless you're in some politically correct milieu and everybody's into a sense of victimization and whatnot. But um, like, uh, so so nobody respects feelings, and when it comes to legality, feelings are irrelevant. Unless again it's a politically motivated thing that's going to bolster somebody's election or something like that, then feelings are a tool. But so I just like writing because I can just be, like, okay, what's the most neutral thing? What, uh, you know, ideally it would be what's the most righteous thing, godly thing, biblical thing. How can I bring glory to God? But um, usually when writing starts, it means that the verbal communication has begun to deteriorate. It seems to me. Or, like sometimes somebody will put a label on a cabinet. This is a spice drawer, and this is where the linens are, or something like that. And that's just, I think that's nice, but some people don't like that kind of thing. So anyway, communication. So like discuss what the preferred communication style is, and it's interesting because I am really into this minutia. Um, and but when I'm talking to people, I talk myself out of asking them these questions, and uh, but they are really relevant and important. And this is how roommate situations I was um, in when I started roommating in the 80s, and uh, had other good roommate situations in the 90s. This is what we did. We were just um, you know just talked about all these little things. Okay, so let's talk about cleaning. I like this question, like, how do you want the space to be? Uh, so there's like the OCD people where everything's shiny, there's no speck of dust, it looks like you're going to take photos for a real estate company magazine. And then there's like casual, this home is used. And then there's like complete slobs, and there's cat hair and smelly garbage and whatever. Um, and then there's probably like craziness. So it's good to know where where you are in that. And then, so I'm gonna have to wrap this up. Um, but this is like the the beginning of this topic that I think is important. Um, and let me know if this is relevant, or if you have more a different focus that you would be interested to talk about in terms of this. And thanks for watching. God bless.